This part, we will see the case that the decisions from NPV and IRR have conflict and why it happens. Generally, NPV and IRR gives the same decision as shown in NPV profile. However, there are a couple of exceptions. First one is non-conventional cash flows. And the second one is mutually exclusive projects. Let's see one by one. Non-conventional cash flows are the ones that change design more than once. Previous cash flows we saw in this chapter has initial negative cash flow and a series of positive cash flows in the future. Sign changes just once. However, it is possible that after initial cost, a project is estimated to generate a stream of positive cash flows and then negative cash flow to close the project. A typical example we can find is nuclear power plant. When the plant is built, huge initial outlay is required. Then it starts to generate positive cash flows when it produces and sells electricity. And when the plant is closed, closing costs will be generated for many years since we need to maintain the closed plant. In this case, sign changes twice. If the sign of cash flow changes more than once, we will have more than one IRRs. This is called a multiple IRR problem. The issue is we cannot use any IRR to make a decision. Let's look at the examples. The cash flow in this example changes sign twice. Non-conventional cash flows. Just click this Excel icon and you will see the spreadsheet of Excel. You will see IRR here is 39.13% and negative 44.59%. Two IRRs. Again, you cannot use any of them. Look at NPV profile. If you look at NPV profile, NPV is positive when IRR is between these two IRRs. R is between two IRRs. Not consistent with the decision rules. So for conventional cash flow, just use NPV. Mutually exclusive projects. Mutually exclusive projects are the acceptance of one project precludes accepting the other. It means that we need to compare the projects and choose better ones. If the decision is made one by one, it is called an independent project. Let's see another example. We have two investments. Click Excel icon again and find IRR and NPVs. Using IRR function, IRR is 10.07%. IRR is 13.73%. Looks A is better. But for NPV, use NPV function, rate, cash flow 1 to the end, plus initial cash flow. NPVA is $18,096.33. NPVB is $18,543.42. B is better. As I said, we should pick B because NPV is better, NPV is higher. Why does it happen? It happens since two NPV profiles are crossed over. First, we can find crossover rate which leads both NPVs indifferent. Let's set NPVA equals to NPVV. Then NPVA minus NPVB equals to 0 because NPVA and NPVB is the same. It means that crossover rate is the IRR of incremental cash flows. Incremental cash flow, the difference between two cash flows. We can calculate incremental cash flows by cash flow B minus cash flow A. Then get IRRs. (9.36% is crossover rate. Look at the graph. NPV profile crossed 9.36%. It means that if IRR is lower than 9.36%, this reason, B is better, B is higher. If IRR, R is higher than 9.36%, A is better. Our R is 7%, so B is better. Pop quiz 4. Find the crossover rate of following two cash flow. Find the IRR of incremental cash flow. Let's find incremental cash flow, just CFA minus CFB. Then CF0 is minus a negative 500 minus negative 400 equals to negative 100. C01 is 325 minus 325 equal to 0. And F01 is equals to 1. C02 is 325 minus 200, 125, and F02 equals to 1, 2. Press IRR and CPT. Compute IRR equals to 11.8%. So crossover rate equals to 11.80%. That is the answer. Another issue of IRR is wrong reinvestment rate assumption. IRR assumes reinvestment at IRR, and NPV assumes reinvestment at required rate of returns, which is the firm's weighted average cost of capital or opportunity cost of the capital. Which one is more realistic? There's no reason that we should reinvest at IRR, which is just individual internal rate of returns. Firm's cost of capital is better assumption as a reinvestment rate. So NPV is better. Whenever there's conflict between NPV and another decision rule, always use NPV. IRR is unreliable, especially in the following situation, which are non-conventional cash flows and mutually exclusive projects. This is the end of part 4.